Hello, Michael Mandaville here with How I Write, and today I'm looking at the blank page and going to solve it with what I call the 3-page technique. Let's take a look at that. I use a program called Scrivener, which has a lot of advantages for the writer. Number one, it's inexpensive at about $49. Number two, it's feature rich. It's got a lot of very powerful components to it, but even in its simplest form, it has the ability to organize your thoughts in a way. So if they come to you out of sequence, you could actually put a note in there saying, here's an idea I have for a scene. You may not even know where it falls yet, but it's in there, and you accumulate this information, this creativity, this brainstorming under topics such as character or research or whatever you want to do. So let's take a look at this. So in Scrivener, you're able, of course, to put in folders, subfolders, and documents, and then subdocuments. So in this particular case, I'm on this little Act 3 of Episode 7, or Chapter 7 for right now, we'll call it. And I have a beginning and a middle of an end in what I know is going to be the village area. So I kind of do have a sense of the geography and some continuity before, because after all, I'm into chapter/episode 7 of a novel, so I do know where things are going, but I want to have something a little different. And I changed it around earlier here about this bit of daring do where he lands a helicopter. So I'm going into this village, and I put in, right here in Scrivener, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now this is just for this one particular act to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So what I'm going to do is, instead of having one blank page, I have 3 blank pages, but I've actually formed it in a way to think beginning, middle, and end. So when I start to do this, I am just going to write down ideas and think about them throughout the next few hours, some of which I call diversionary thinking, where I go and do something else, maybe in the garden or something, but I'm thinking about this issue. So right now, I'm just going to write down a number of possibilities right here. So we have village with the European folks, young people that they met at the lake, which was earlier. The lake, they're invited to dinner with them as cover. That's important. Blaine and Jeremy are the 2 characters. They check out excuse me. Actually, I think once they get there, so there's the middle part, you see. That's not really the beginning, so I could move that over back to the beginning here. Invited to dinner. I also know at the end they're going to make this discovery about the bad guys, easy enough to call them that, planning a massacre at the village during the holiday. It's a holiday in Morocco called Ashura, and these bad guys are trying to invoke a red flag operation. So I'm going to put red flag operation. That means one country or person does something and blames another to start a bigger event. One example of that might be the start of World War II, where Nazi Germany pretended to raid a Polish radio station to trigger their invasion of Poland. So it's a provocation that one country starts against another. So I have the red flag operation. In the middle, they check to steal vehicles. They wander off. They check the perimeter of the village. Check perimeter of the village. They spy on local police to see if they're alert. Check on communications to see if they can call out. landlines, but the cell phone reception is blocked. So they block the communications, the bad guys. They get invited to dinner. They meet these young people at a lake, and so that's what gets them into the village. They're invited to dinner with them. They have to avoid the police in the area from scrutiny and blend in, etc. So you can see that by just thinking sequentially 1, 2, 3, beginning, middle, and end, I'm starting to generate ideas. And also, you have an instinct to where these ideas are going to fall. There's another one I just thought of. They have to grab and tie up, or worse, a soldier who discovers them. I wanted Jeremy, who is 17, to have to take some very strong action in this arena, something that's very disconcerting, excuse me, and something that his father, who is an agent, has to talk him through. But if you are a father to your son, you really don't want him to experience certain things like killing another man, but this is part of the situation they find themselves in. So there's this part where it's action and this part where it's personal. So I definitely wanted something like that. It should be heart-wrenching for both of them. So with this technique, what I've done is taken a blank page, which might be stopping me, and according at a beginning, a middle, and end, which we're all very familiar with, this concept, as a narrative and a timeline. And it automatically starts to break down my thoughts and my brainstorming and my creativity into areas. Oh, well, this belongs here and that belongs there. So then I'm going to be building up these 3 little sections in free-form brainstorming. I also don't have to force it into the timeline. It seems to come quite naturally. And then I can pick and choose the ideas. So if I really like, well, this red flag operation, sometimes what I'll do is boldface it and underline it and go, I think that's the leading contender for this particular page area of Act 3. So that's a technique you could use, things to break up your the standstill you might find yourself at creatively, and use the beginning, middle, and end 3-pager technique for any kind of writer's block or staring at the blank page. Thanks very much and have a good writing day.